All right, so we are recording right now. And so let me go through the details of this week. We know that the Food Web article is due tonight that I gave you yesterday. It's microscopic short. Today we have our discussion on the, like yesterday we covered the producers. There's Antonio. All right, hold on a second. Let me fix the roll. Where am I writing this down? Okay. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the producers. Today we're going to talk about the consumers. And within the consumers, we have the decomposers and detritivores. And we'll get that in just a second, but detritivores might be something that's new to y'all. All right, let's move ahead and talk a little bit about, yeah, I see you, baby. I got you written down. I got you for roll. Was it anything else? Antonio, did you need me for something else or just for roll, baby? Okay, I'll change that in just a second for you. All right, so with tomorrow, let me open up our the food chain project. Tomorrow we're going to be doing the preparations for the food chain project, and then we're actually doing the project on Thursday, and the project will be due on next Tuesday. Okay, so you'll start tomorrow with the preparations. You'll be doing it on Thursday. It will be ready to turn in on next Tuesday. All right, so I'm going to go over the basic details with you again. Each team has a different set of 3 ecosystems they get to choose from. So I'm going to pull one of the teams up at random. Let's see, who'd I get? I got red. Okay, so the red team is going to get to choose from tundra, savanna, or pampas grasslands. All right, if you want to know which one your team gets to choose from, you can just pull up your team color right here. And once you've done that, let me pull back up somebody. All right, what I need you to do, there's Kevin also. Okay, let me get Kevin down. Okay, all right, got you, Kevin. I'll add you on the roll in a minute. All right, so if you want to know what your team gets to choose from, you can pull up your color team. Once you've got it, I need you to put each team members in here, and you're going to use this page for sort of like brainstorming. Okay, this won't be the finished product. This will be, or it could be. It could be. You could do brainstorming and finished product here. What I was worried about is how to be able to let all of you work on the same piece of paper. And then I realized light bulb, Google Documents, Google Docs. All right, so if none of you have used Google Docs yet, I'll go over some of the details on that tomorrow, but that's a great way that all of you can work on the same piece of paper. That's exactly what we need. All right, so you guys will all be using this piece of paper here to do your brainstorming, and then just add pages down to put the original project. Okay, so that will be what that's for. The specific directions again on how to do the work is right here. All right, you'll get one of these also tomorrow. It's labeled here for you already. It's like right here, main worksheet. It's already here for you if you want to look at it early. But what you have here is you have some questions at the top. All right, now these questions at the top, you're going to have to, you can all answer these questions together. You could say, you answer this one, you answer that one, you answer that one. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. But you must have evidence with your answer. All right. And so that means you have to tell me exactly where in the book you found it. And what I was thinking, if you find it in the notes, okay, I need to know specifically where in the notes. But since the notes are verbatim, word for word with the PowerPoint, you can open up the PowerPoint. If you find it in your notes, open up the PowerPoint and say PowerPoint slide whatever, because the PowerPoint is exactly a mirror of your notes. Okay, so that's, you have to tell me exactly where you find your answers. All right, and if it's one of our discussion days, okay, you can pull up the discussion day whatever and do the time on the clock when I said it. Okay, if you want to do it that way, whatever, but I have to have evidence of where you find your answers. All right, and so then when you get here, this is a list of all of the ecosystems. Okay, so this is the main part. This is the big part of the question. Okay, that's part of the grade. So you get a grade for the questions and another grade for the thing. And I'll need every person to turn me in these. Okay, I'll need every person to turn in the questions individually, and then the food chain as a group. Now you are working together, so you will have copied, maybe put in parentheses, this one was found by this person and that's the answer. This one was found by this person and that's the answer. This was found by this person and that's the answer, but I need a copy from each of you I think we'll talk some more about that tomorrow. All right, so when we do our planning. Okay, so what we need is there's 2 different ways to do the project. Okay, it has to be a 5-step pyramid. So you'll have your producers plus 4 others. Now this one actually has 5 others, so this is a 6-step pyramid. All right, so a 6-step food chain. You give me your ecosystem here and all of the different people that are in it. Now here, look, see, this says yellowfin tuna. It doesn't just say tuna. Okay, this says gray seal, not just seal. I need specifics, and it has to be exactly the right animal that goes with that ecosystem. So there's a little bit of research to go in here to make sure you've got them right. All right, this is the second way you can do it. This is a background picture that I took of a deciduous forest. That's what this one is, temperate deciduous forest. This is a background picture here. And then I found animals that I wanted in here, plants and animals. I just Googled images, like I did blue jay, Googled blue jay transparent background or blue jay no background, and then I just cut and pasted it on here. Okay, and if you can't find it without a background, like this caterpillar, I just cropped it. Okay, so and that's gives you a little bit of artistic twist, and we could talk some more about that when you're practicing tomorrow. All right, so that's another basic overview of your project. We'll start it officially tomorrow, then you'll have Thursday to do it. It will be due on the next Tuesday in case it needs some tweaking before you fix it up before you finish it up. All right, so let's move on to today's discussion. All right, move on to today's discussion. Also note that your notes are due on this Friday coming up. Okay, the notes for this section are due on Friday. But since your project is going to be monopolizing so much of your time and energy, you may want to knock these out if they're not already done. You might want to knock them out early. Okay, it's up to you. But they're due on Friday, and your project's going to be taking a lot of your energy, so you might want to knock the notes out early. Let's move to today's discussion. Okay, so these are the objectives we're covering. Okay, this one is about trophic levels. Okay, using trophic levels and showing them in a conceptual model, which is a pyramid. Okay, and this one is this objective is using a pyramid to show us the cycling of matter. Okay, this one shows the 10% rule, which we'll learn a little later. All right, and this one has interactions and food dynamics, the law of conservation of energy to show a model of energy flow through the back to a biosphere. And this is where we're talking about the terrarium Earth, how energy can come in, but the nutrients need to be recycled. And this objective is create a model of an ecosystem. This is the one your project is doing, a model of the ecosystem, which is the food pyramid, depicting the interrelationships among the organisms, carnivore or carnivore, herbivore, omnivore, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's what that one does. And this one says compare the patterns of stratification and zonification in various terrestrial aquatic ecosystems. Again, that's your food chain. Okay, to construct an argument regarding the importance of these patterns and diversity. These are how these animals are living. Okay, all right, and so that question. Okay, so I'll get you that question in just a minute, baby girl. All right, so here's today's work. Okay, yesterday we talked about producers. And with our producers, we said every single organism on the entire Earth can be divided into either producer or consumer. There is nothing in between. There is nothing that doesn't fit in one of those 2 categories. Every single thing on Earth is either a producer or consumer. So yesterday we covered the producers. And with the producers, we photosynthesis works, how they take in the sunlight, they bring in the oxygen, the carbon dioxide, bring up the water, and then they do the little magic, and then we produce the glucose molecule. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the producers, and within the producers, we talked about the different types of producers, meaning where they are located. On land, you have the grasses and trees, and near the shore of the freshwater or the ocean water, either one, near the shore, you're going to have algae or aquatic plants. And deep in the ocean or out in the open ocean, you'll have phytoplankton. So we talked about the types of producers. We talked about how photosynthesis worked. And we talked about how photosynthesis is actually just a chemical exchange, energy exchange from light energy into chemical energy. So photosynthesis, with all the magic and all the other stuff that happens with photosynthesis, it's an energy exchange from chemical into from light energy into chemical energy. But it's also a shift from something abiotic into something biotic. Okay, so photosynthesis allows both of those things. Now, if you're not going to be a producer, then you have to be a consumer. Okay, the fancy words for both. The fancy word for producer was autotroph, because the word troph means feeding. It's from the troughs that they feed the animals in the farms. troph. So troph means feeding. So autotroph, the producers have to feed themselves. Auto means self. Consumers are called heterotrophs. Okay, right here. The consumers are heterotrophs. So when we're talking here, this part of the notes, once you have divided everything out, it's either a producer or a consumer. Now, producers we talked about yesterday, once you've decided it's a consumer, the next thing you need to decide is you'll further categorize them by their feeding level or their habits of feeding. All right, whether it's an herbivore, an omnivore, or a carnivore. And once you know that, you put them into the levels. Okay, so these are where we get to our pyramids here. So the producers are down here on the bottom level with photosynthesis. Now, here's the thing that's weird, and a lot of books do this. Okay, they're calling our plants primary producers. That's extra. There's no secondary producer ever. There's no such thing as a secondary producer. So they put this in here just to make sure you know that the herbivores are the primary consumers. A lot of times when you write the word primary consumer, when you're talking about the herbivores, people want to put it on the bottom rung. Well, the bottom rung is for the plants. The primary consumer is the second rung, okay, of the pyramid. So that's why if you ever see primary producers, it's kind of stupid. There's never a secondary producer. But they do that so that you don't automatically, accidentally stick the herbivores in that category. Okay. So the herbivores are the plants are down here. The producers are at the bottom rung. The next rung up are the herbivores. They're the ones who eat the plants. They're the primary consumer because they're the first consumer on the list. And then whatever is eating the herbivore, it goes up on the secondary consumer. And then whatever eats that is tertiary consumer. Now on your project, you're going to have one more level. This is a 4-step because the decomposers don't count. This is a 4-step. You're going to have 5 steps at least. All right, so let's say that's a fox. Let's say a badger eats that fox. Okay, that's the quaternary level. Okay, so that's the 4th consumer up. That's your 5th level. Then if you have a mountain lion that eats the badger, okay, that would be quintinary. Quintinary means 5. That would be the 5th consumer on the list, the 6th rung of the pyramid. Okay, so make sure that you can handle primary, tertiary things here. Let's talk about this, make sure we've got it. Oh, here's the thing. You are going to always have herbivores on this level only because they're the ones who eat the plants. So you guys watching my mouse here, my little cursor? You're always going to have herbivores on this list only. The herbivores have to be on this list, on this row. The carnivores cannot be on this row because they can't eat plants. The herbivores must be here. The carnivores cannot be here. Now the omnivores can be anywhere the heck they want to be. That's one of the cool things about being an omnivore is you can eat anything. So you can have omnivore on any one of these categories at all. Okay, but when you're doing the pyramid, this primary consumer, the herbivores have to be on this level only because they're the ones eating the plants. And the carnivores have to be above them somewhere. They can never be on this one because they don't eat plants. The omnivores, they can go wherever they want to. That's one of the cool things about being an omnivore, like humans, rats, and pigs, which is a great group to be in. It's a great group of buddies in our group. Okay, so we got rats and we also have bears, you know, pigs, rats, bears, humans. All right, so the primary consumers, those are our herbivores. They eat green plants or algae. The secondary consumers feed on the primaries. And the tertiary, quaternary, or even higher, which would be quintinary, but you almost can never get higher than that. Quintinary is the 5th level consumer, feeds on primary, secondary, or tertiary. Among the secondary and tertiary, you'll have carnivores and omnivores, and the carnivores feed only on the meat, the other animals. Most of this we know already. That's why I'm kind of just glossing over it. And the omnivores, like pigs, rats, and humans, eat both plants, animals, and they can be found at any consumer level. This picture here is some examples of each one, which you're welcome to use this. If these animals are appropriate in your ecosystem, you're welcome to use any of these. Okay. All right. So so we have these animals here. This is herbivore, carnivore, omnivore. At this point, I want to see some thumbs. Oh, somebody's in the chat line. What you got? Let's see. I need some thumbs anyway. So everybody flip to your chat for just a second. Oh, well, Come on, log in, computer. My computer's being slow. Yours is probably faster. What I need is I need to know, do you understand everything so far with primary, secondary, tertiary consumers, where you're going to have the herbivores, where you'll have the carnivores, where you'll have the omnivores? Okay, don't worry about decomposers yet, because we'll talk about them in a second. I need to make sure you understand what I'm talking about right now. Okay, primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, where you'll have producers and where you won't. Why they're calling primary producers, but there'll never be a secondary producer. Let me see some thumbs if you understanded me so far. Good. Thank you, Alexandria. Gotcha. Everybody's doing thumbs up. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. All right. Let me see how we're doing. Good, good. And note that here's some examples. This is certainly not an exhaustive list. This is not everything, but some of these may give you like a hint where you want to go when you look at it. And there's bajillions more animals, obviously, to choose from. This is just kind of some ideas. Good, good. Very good. Let me see how many. Good. I want to see how many people are understanding me now, because in a minute I'm going to talk about decomposers and detritivores. And detritivores is something new, probably for most of you guys. All right, you guys ready? Okay, good. Thank you guys for helping me out with the thumbs. Okay, now on your list here you have decomposers. Now if you decide to put decomposers with your project, they will have to be a 6th step in the food chain. You have to give me 5 steps that's strictly what's eating what. If you want to put decomposers in, they'll have to be a 6th step, but what's weird is they go in any place. Decomposers here, decomposers here, decomposers here, decomposers here. That's why we don't normally put them in the pyramid, because they go everywhere. All right, they have to decompose everything. So we usually separate them out. Okay, now most of the time though, when you've learned about decomposers in the past, they automatically stick the scavengers like hyenas and vultures and stuff. They stick the scavengers in with the decomposers. Okay. All right, I see you, baby. I saw it in Remind. I'm just, as soon as I finished, I'll let you answer your question about photosynthesis. Okay, I got you. All right, so what we have, like in the past, they have automatically stick the scavengers in with the decomposers, but we want to separate them out. All right, so what the decomposers do is they are the ones who actually take the leftovers, the dead, the remains, or whatever is left over from the dead animals or the fallen trees or the poo that gets left behind. It's the decomposer's job to take it and turn it back into the chemicals, the nitrogen, the carbon, the phosphorus, the potassium that the next generation needs. And that's bacteria and fungus. Okay, it's the bacteria and fungus. Those are the decomposers. Those are the ones that actually turn the leftover junk into chemicals, the nutrients, potassium, phosphorus, carbon that the next generation needs. And that's going to be the bacteria and fungi. When we're talking about the detritivores, okay, detritus is like leaf litter and dead things, detritus. So these are detritivores. What they eat the freshly dead. Okay, they're going to be the ones to eat the hyena. They're going to, I mean, the zebra. They're going to be the ones to chew up the fallen tree. Okay, these guys are detritivores, and what they do is they break down the dead thing and then poop out. They poop out the remains, and then the decomposers take it from the poop. Then they turn it into the nutrients. Okay, so the detritivores don't actually give us the nutrients. They just break down the dead material and get the process started. And then the decomposers will take what they leave behind and then turn it into the nutrients for the next level. So that's the difference between them. Okay, the ones we always called scavengers, those are the detritivores. They eat the freshly dead, okay, before it's fully decomposed. Once the bacteria and fungi get to it, they take it, the dead stuff or the poop left behind from the scavengers, and turn it back into the elements and chemicals and nutrients that the next generation needs. So because of that, these guys work together to be the key of nutrient cycling. Okay, so in natural ecosystems, the decomposers and detritivores are going to eliminate the buildup of dead animals and plants. Can you imagine how bad this place would look if we didn't have these guys stacked up with dead bodies everywhere? I mean, it'd be horrible. So they handle that for us. But while they're doing so, they give us the nutrient cycling. Okay, now what I mean by nutrient cycling, remember when we talked about the terrarium, Earth as a terrarium. Sunlight can come in and heat can go out. So energy, it's an open system. But matter and nutrients, it's a closed system. All we have here is what's in the Earth. We can't go to Jupiter to get more carbon. We can't get to the asteroid belt for more water. This is all we have. And so that's what I mean by nutrient cycling. What if the dinosaurs had used up all the carbon? What if the mammoths had used up all the potassium? What if the cavemen had used up all the, what's left? The water. Okay. So these guys are the ones who keep the cycles going so the next generation has materials. Okay. Because we can't go get more. So that's why we say the decomposers and detritivores are the key to nutrient cycling. Yeah, that is why stool makes a good fertilizer. That is 100% why stool or like compost. When you've taken your vegetable scraps from your house, your eggshells, your banana peels, the moldy the brown leaf lettuce, you put that in a compost pile, you let that stir for a while, and you put that out onto your garden the next spring. Amazing good stuff, because the decomposers and detritivores have handled the nutrient cycling, and then you're not putting garbage on your new garden, you're putting nutrients on your new garden. That's exactly what it's for. Okay, and it helps the whole world that way. Do you guys understand me so far? Can I have some more thumbs up? How are we doing? We good? Okay, let me see some thumbs up, and then we're going to ask this question about photosynthesis. You guys understand me with my decomposers and detritivores? Do you understand the difference? Let me see, let me see. Okay, because the decomposers, that's bacteria and fungi. And the detritivores, that's like snails and bugs and worms. Okay, all of these guys, plus the hyenas, the scavengers and coyotes and vultures. The detritivores are worms and beetles and hyenas and scavengers. Okay, the decomposers are bacteria and fungi. It's the decomposer's job to turn the dead stuff back into the nutrients. Okay, the detritivores just break down the dead stuff for us. Good. We doing there? Good. All right, good. All right, so baby girl, what was your question about photosynthesis? Let me see who else are here. Good, good, good. I think we're just about done. Well, hang on, just before we do that, let me pull back open the worksheet, because now you guys are ready for it. Okay, this is today's worksheet. And this information here, we should have covered most of all of this with the stuff I just told you. We are recording right now, so I'll put the recording into this part right here of this day here, this right here. In the bottom, there'll be a thingy here for the discussion. Okay. And then yeah, so that'll be there. So everything on this top part, I should have just gone over for you. This bottom part is on page 77, and you'll use that. It's a green box. You'll use that information to answer this question, these questions. All right, so let me go back to the people side. Raise your hand if you have a question. I know baby girl has one. Go ahead and ask me, baby. Or did you want to do it in chat? Let's do chat. You can either ask it out loud or put it in the chat, either way. What you got? Let me see what's in there. Oh, there. In the process of photosynthesis, how is hydrogen ions concentrated through chemosmosis? Although the hydrogen ions have a big impact on the process of photosynthesis because the plant cell, the buildup of thylakoid alloy. Wow, baby girl. Nice. You doing a second science project on this? You got a second science that you're covering this? Let's see. The hydrogen ions. Yes, 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 yes. The hydrogen ions are a big part of it, because when the during photosynthesis, when they're doing the electrolysis, they're using the sunlight, because of all that energy, to split the oxygen and hydrogen apart. So remember that photosynthesis has a light reaction and a dark reaction. The job of the light reaction, using the sunlight to split the water molecule in half, they throw out the oxygen because they don't need it, and they hold the hydrogen till the dark reaction. And that's when they give, the C6H12O6, that's when they're using that, the hydrogen molecules that they got when they split the water apart. So when the light reaction, the light reaction's job is to use the sunlight energy to take a water molecule and split it in half. They let go of the oxygen because they don't need it. They hold the hydrogen until the dark reaction. And during the dark reaction, and it's not really dark, it just means with or without the sunshine, the dark reaction, and that's when they use in the thylakoid membrane, that's where the electrons trigger the chain reaction, the chemical reaction that's going to use the hydrogen that they just got from the light reaction. Did that help some, baby? I think that helped. Let me see. Hydrogen ions concentrated with that. Yep. Okay, cool. Cool. That's how that works between the light reaction and the dark reaction. Excellent. That's a great question, baby girl. Anybody else have any questions for me? Awesome, you guys. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so I think we're ready to shut off the video and you guys are ready to start that worksheet. All right. Stop recording. Yes.